Hello, everyone. Welcome to GA's Tea Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. If you haven't already, please hit the bell notification. The like and subscribe really helps the channel. And I want to send a special thank you for everybody that has already subscribed. So, guys, let's get our teacups, let's get our snacks, and let's get ready to discuss our favorite characters. General Hospital Daily Recap, Friday, February 27th, 2026. We had a bunch of folks. We had Trina, Alexis, Maxie. We had some Laura. It was a lot of people in this episode. Let's see what our favorite characters are up to. Finally, Trina got some sense. So Trina was at her mom's office and she was talking to her mother and she was telling Portia that Isaiah came by to see her. And at first, Portia was like, well, he had no business doing that. But Trina was like, no, he spoke some truth to me and kind of put things in perspective that I didn't want to accept. Probably that her parents' marriage was already over. So anyway, Trina was like, Mama, I don't want to see you by yourself. I love you. And they hugged, they were crying, all that kind of stuff. Um, Portia did bring up to Trina, she was just like, about Isaiah. And Trina was like, okay, she was like, she has to face the fact that Isaiah is going to be in her mom's life. But Portia was letting her know that, she really does care for Isaiah and he's a good person. And Trina was like, okay, well, I will accept him. She wasn't like she's going to be like, oh, gun ho for it, but she will accept him because she sees that her mother is happy with him. The baby kick, Trina got to feel the baby kick. They smile. So I'm glad, honestly, that they have wrapped up this silly storyline. They was making Trina look like she was 5 years old. And I'm like, come on now. I like Trina. Let's not do that to her. So she can be an adult now and be a big sister, and this storyline can move along. So I'm glad to see these two are back together, being happy together as mother and daughter. Maxie's back at work. Great. I'm happy for her. But anyway, she comes in and Lucy's there. Right. So Lucy is like, oh my goodness, Maxie, so happy you're back. And she's hugging her. And then she's like, we should go have a celebration, go do some drinks at the Metro Court. Let's go. So Maxie's like, no, I'm back at work. I want to get back and see what's going on. So Lucy started giving Maxie the rundown. She was saying like after the whole thing with her accident when she fell out, that picture, she showed Maxie a picture of her on the ground and she was just like that picture went viral. Then all of a sudden everybody stopped buying their products and the stock actually tanked. So, which is crazy because I'm like, dang, people are just so like they could have put out Maxie had a medical issue that a previous medical issue. This wasn't because of the product, but wasn't nobody here trying to hear that. So she was also telling Maxie that because of this, they had to make a deal with Sidwell to give him control of their import export stuff and things like that. And Maxie is not happy. She was like, what do you mean you gave him control of this thing? Why didn't you ask Tracy for money? So Lucy gave Maxie some excuse about, oh, Tracy was out of it because Monica's death and then because something else, some other business. Oh, the sister came to town and so they couldn't ask Tracy for this money. It's kind of crazy they didn't ask Tracy for that money because why would you get in bed with Sylwell? Lucy was telling Maxie that all of them signed off on it, including her mother. So Maxie can't believe this. She was like, this is not a good deal. But she was like, you know what? I'm back now. We're going to make some changes. Maxie called over Sidwell to the office. So Sidwell was like, oh, I'm so glad to see you, Maxie, that you're back on your feet and stuff like that. And so Maxie's kind of smiling up with him for a little bit. But she's like, you know what, Sidwell, now that I'm back, we can see what your exit strategy is going to be because it overlaps with Maxie's position. So, of course, Sidwell always got that little silly smile on his face. And he's like, oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to see, I'm staying here. He was like, we signed a contract and it's a 5-year contract. And Sylwell's basically telling Maxie he's not going anywhere. That everything's going to continue how it is. So Maxie is kind of like, well, we need to figure something out. And Sylwell was like, well, if I leave, I'm taking my funds with me. So that means that if he does that, that's the end of deception. But the funny part with Sylwell that I always think is crazy, he has a way of like threatening people without threatening them. And I think Maxie picked that up because she was like, if he pulls his money or his resources out of deception, it's going to mess with their recovery. And he was like, it's going to mess with her recovery, Maxie's, and the recovery of deception. Why would it affect Maxie's recovery? So that's his way of underlying threatening people without doing this. And he has done this a number of times. I don't know if anybody picked that up, but yeah, I'm like, they need to start checking this man. I don't know. But anyway, Maxie, as Sidwell was like, okay, you know what, we leaving. So he took Lucy and he was like, okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go have lunch or whatever. And Maxie kind of, yelled out to him, you know what, Sidwell, this is not over. So Sidwell kind of looked at her, kind of not in a smiley way, and walked out. Guys, I love making this content for you. If you have not already, please subscribe so you can keep updated when we upload a new video. But now, let's see. Nathan was at the Metro Court and his mom came in. And Lisa needs to slow down, okay? So Lisa comes in and she's like, oh, it's great. You and Maxie are back together. And Nathan was like, no, Maxie chose Spinelli. And she was like, what for? I'm like, what? Lisa was messed up. So anyway, she was like, you and Maxie deserve to be together. You need to go out and fight for her. So Nathan's like, no, I'm good where everything is at, And then Lisa had the nerve to bring up James, and that set Nathan off. Nathan was like, I know you're not questioning me being a good father. And he's like, what kind of basically think about yourself as a mother. Like, she was never a good mother to them. And Nathan got up and walked away because Lisa really kind of got underneath his skin. Lisa was really taken aback that Nathan yelled at her, but I can kind of understand, like, she needs to kind of stay out of Nathan's business when it comes to this whole relationship. Maxie made her decision. That's it. It's over. Lisa needs to get over it. Nathan saw Nina sitting at the Metro Court bar, so he came up to her and he was kind of telling her how Lisa got underneath his skin. And he also updated her and said Maxie chose Spinelli. And Nina was like, well, I guess this is good for you because you can pursue the thing with Lulu. So he was like, yeah, he's ready. But Nina kind of was like, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe you guys, take a moment. You just got back, blah, blah, blah. Nathan brought up a valid point. He said, listen, I've been taking a moment for 7 years. He's kind of ready to move on with his life. So Nina kind of left it at that, but she thinks that he should fall back for a minute before he starts getting into a relationship, especially with Lulu. Nathan saw Lulu at the Metro Court too, and they were catching up, and he was asking Lulu, did she have time to think about it? And Lulu kind of just gave in. She was like, no, I want to pursue this relationship with you. So Nathan's happy. The one thing is that she did say, I don't want to sneak around, right? She was like, but which one of us is going to go have this conversation with Maxie? I think it should be Lulu. I think Lulu needs to go and talk to her friend. That's her best friend. She needs to go there. Nathan can chime in later, but she needs to hear this from Lulu. And I think she's going to be surprised. I'm sure Maxie might not be all gun-ho for it in the beginning, but she knows that this is her best friend and her husband, ex-husband, whatever. And they both deserve some happiness. She knows what they've been through, so I'm sure after Maxie gets a chance to think about it, she'll probably give them their blessing, but they really do need to go speak to her. Here goes Lisa again. She runs into Britt's office and she's like, Britt, we got to do something about your brother. So Britt is like, what? What happened? Because she's thinking it's something important. And she was like, your brother and Maxie are not going to get back together again. You got to help me convince Nathan to go back and get Maxie because Maxie chose Spinelli. So Britt was like, I'm not doing that. She was like, I'm not going to do that. She was like, well, maybe Spinelli makes Maxie feel safe. Maybe Spinelli is like a good person. Maybe, Britt gave a list of things, but Lisa could tell she wasn't talking about Spinelli. She was talking about Jason. Now, remember, Jason and Britt are supposed to be pretending like they don't know each other. And I know this is her mother, but her mother doesn't know the full story of what's going on. So what if Lisa by accident speaks to somebody and say that her daughter's still messing with Jason? Britt needs to come on with that. But anyway, Lisa figured out that she was talking about Jason, and she was like, well, she's kind of happy that, Britt has Jason. But I hope Lisa leaves this whole Nathan thing alone. I know she does not like Lulu. I'm talking about Britt, not Britt, Lisa. So that's going to be a little weird because I don't think she's going to be happy about Lulu and Nathan hooking up, but she kind of needs to fall back on this and let this is it. Maxie chose Spinelli. Nathan wants to be with Lulu. Lisa need to go sit down. Lulu wanted to interview Willow about her becoming the next congresswoman, right? So Lulu's there asking her a series of questions. And you could tell from this series of questions, and she was asking her light questions, like, what is your policy going to be or something like that. And Willow had no answer for nothing. She didn't have an answer for any of it at all. So every time Lulu asked her a question, Nina would chime in with an answer. And, thank goodness Nina was there because it would have just been like, I don't know. So I'm just like, how was she not prepared for this? But anyway, Lulu kept asking her different questions and stuff like that. And finally, Nina was like, well, you know what? I'm going to let you have your time with Lulu and y'all could talk and let her see what type of candidate you're going to be. So Nina excused herself from the conversation. And I was like, Nina, you shouldn't go nowhere. What is Willow going to be able to say? She don't have no information. But anyway, Willow came together and she had a little answer to something, and she kind of was like, I want to be congresswoman because it'll make my kids proud of me, and she knows that she's not up to speed on everything, but she's going to get there. So she gave Lulu a rather decent answer. What I found a little interesting was that Lulu kind of was like, Willow was kind of like, I'm not going to be a pushover. There's some men in my life that think that I'm going to be a pushover, but I'm not going to be a pushover. This position has shown me I could be strong. Look, Willow better watch out. With Sidwell, I don't know if she was talking about Sidwell, she's talking about Michael, or she's talking about both. Sidwell will get rid of her in a heartbeat. If he realizes that he can't use her for his agenda, she will be gone. So I hope that Willow is not talking about using her power against Sidwell, like, reverse thing or something like that. She need to just follow the script, because if not, either she gonna be sitting in a jail cell or she gonna be sitting at the bottom of a lake. Marco and Sidwell were talking, and Sidwell was telling Marco, our plan for Sunny is almost, it's almost here. You're gonna get your revenge. I hope somewhere along the line that Marco's mother left some kind of note, or he finds out that Sunny had nothing to do with her death. Because what's bothering me about this is that Marco wants this revenge for this mother that Sunny didn't have nothing to do with this. Sunny was trying to help her. But anyway, Sidwell's plan is to bring the FBI in. Use Willow to bring the FBI in and take Sunny down. This is a dumb plan. This done happened about 500 times. Sunny has always gotten away from these charges. I don't know why that's his plan, but that's his plan for Marco. So Marco's like, well, Sunny's gotten away with this kind of stuff in the past. He doesn't think this is a good revenge plan, but this is what his father got going. So, that was basically the end of this. I don't know. I think Sidwell's plan for Sunny is kind of crazy. Marco needs to get over this whole revenge thing, and Sidwell needs to come on. Sunny has gotten away from the law enforcement for so long. This is dumb. But we'll see what happens with this. Lucas was talking to Britt earlier, and Britt was like, you got to hurry up because I need a vial of that to get to find that medication. So because Britt is like, they want a prototype of this thing that she's creating, and once the prototype is done, she knows she's out of here, right? So Lucas was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'm going to go get help. So he went and asked Marco for help, which is crazy. Anyway, so he asked Marco to get some of that medication for him. But Marco was like, look, if Cullen finds out what they're up to, they're all out of here. Like, not just Britt. She was like, they're going to take them all out. So Lucas is like, look, Britt deserves our help. We shouldn't do this to her. And what was really weird is that Marco was like, you don't even like her. Okay, they don't like each other at work. They're not friends, but that don't mean he wants something to happen to her. So I can't believe Marco said that. So, but anyway, at the end of it, Marco was like, you're right. You're a good man, Lucas. I'm going to figure out a way to get some of that medication to get to Britt. So Marco is going to help them figure out where this medication is at. And I don't know how he's going to get some of it to give to Lucas, but he's now in the mix of all of this. Laura came over to talk to Alexis in person, and Alexis was upset, right? So Alexis was like, I can't even believe you didn't even call me. Like, you didn't even tell me that this press conference is going on. Laura says she did tell her that she texted her. And at first, Alexis like, you didn't text me. But when she looked, she saw that she missed the text. So Alexis kind of was like, you know what? It was more of an embarrassment because she had told her friends and family that she was going to be, asked to step in for this position. And Laura says she know, but she says she was blindsided herself and that, they put Willow there. But Alexis kept saying, Willow, like, Willow has no credentials for this job, like, at all. Like, so anyway, Laura said, yeah, it wasn't her choice. And Alexis understood. She was like, yeah, I get it. Maybe the governor wanted her to step in and stuff like that. They still ain't talking about, Laura didn't tell her about Sidwell being the one that pushed for this. But anyway, Alexis did say, Willow is a very resourceful person. As much as you might think she's like going to be a pushover and stuff like that, she can surprise you because Alexis knows the full story about what Willow did to Drew. Not the second half of what she's doing right now, but the first half, how she got him, she pow-powed him. So anyway, Alexis and Laura are back on good terms with each other, but I'm sure eventually Alexis probably will still get this position because once Sidwell gets taken out and they start taking down his empire, or Willow gets arrested for drugging Drew, they'll probably ask her to step in because somebody's gonna have to step into that position. I don't know, maybe Drew will be up, but hopefully Drew will step down and not be congressman, or maybe he'll go move to Washington and get out of our hair so we don't have to see him anymore. Anyway, guys, what did you think about this episode? What were you most surprised about? What did you think about Alexis accepting Laura's apology? Do you think she should have stayed mad at them? How about Trina not acting like she's 3 years old anymore? Are you happy about this? But guys, don't forget to subscribe. Again, I love making this content. I love hearing you guys in the comment section. I've been getting some really good comments, so thanks for that. And if you haven't already, hit the bell notification and kindly hit the like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. And thank you guys again for joining us at GHT Time. And I will see you next time. Bye.